How do you write a grant? How long does it take? Where can I see an example of a successful grant proposal? Keep watching to get the answer to all these questions. I'll start by showing you the 3 essential steps of every grant proposal with grant writing examples. Then I'll share 3 pro tips about how long it takes to get a grant, what happens after you get the grant, and what to do if you don't. Let's get started with those 3 steps to successful grant proposals. Step 1. Introduce your organization to reviewers who likely know nothing about it. Grant funders have staff or volunteers who receive and review your grant proposal along with dozens or even hundreds more, so how you complete every step is vital. Grant proposals begin with the basics, name, address, etc. Then grant funders will ask for a few documents to send in with the proposal to assure the funder that your organization is eligible and organized well enough to manage any grant dollars they award. This will include your letter of tax exemption from the IRS, your board of directors list, and some financial documents. I have a separate video with all the pro tips on these required documents, linked above and in the description below, with advice for the United States and most countries across the globe. Next, you need a mission statement. This is a guiding statement for the organization, approved by the board of directors, which defines what your organization does and does not do so that all resources are focused. Here is your first writing example, the mission statement from the Missouri Botanical Garden in St. Louis, Missouri, to discover and share knowledge about plants and their environment in order to preserve and enrich life. If your organization needs a mission statement, I linked a how-to article in the description below. Funders also want to know a little history to know why the organization was started in the first place and anything significant that has happened since. Here is an organizational history writing example, this time from Dress for Success. Notice how short it is. Founded in 1996, Dress for Success started as a small initiative in a Manhattan church basement. It has since grown into a global organization with 140 affiliates in 24 countries, providing suiting, career counseling, and services to empower women economically. The last item in step 1, the introduction, is to define your organization's skill sets and experiences. This is called organizational capacity or programs, activities, and accomplishments. Here is an example from a local community center. It's too long to read here, so I linked it in the description below, but I'll highlight the essentials here. Each program area is spelled out, the primary activities in each area are listed, as well as their accomplishments. Okay, you have sufficiently introduced your organization to the grant funder, so now it's time to get to the matter at hand, the specific project you hope will win grant-funded support. Step 2. Describe your program effectively so reviewers can envision it. This starts with the name of the project itself. Don't just treat it as a line on a form. For example, don't just call your proposal Summer Camp. Add a couple of words about who the camp is for, such as Summer Camp for 25 foster children. It has to be short, but now the reviewer knows what to expect going forward. Next, the grant funder wants to know what you know about the community you serve. The question is often asked in a proposal like this: what needs will be addressed? This is known as a needs assessment. These are usually conducted by large community organizations, from hospitals and colleges to United Ways and government agencies. You can use that information for free to build the case for your organization's services. Next, the grant funder will likely ask, describe the target population to be served, or provide a breakdown of who your organization will serve. Another word for this is demographics. This means you need to know many things about the people you serve, including their age, race, gender, maybe income levels or education levels. You will also provide some general information about the size of the community you serve, whether it's an entire region or a neighborhood. For a writing sample, I'll refer you to my video on data for grants, linked above and below, because it goes into a deep dive on where to find the data you need. Once you have provided the details about who you serve, now you get to describe the program that serves them. These descriptions include what you will do, how the staff are qualified to complete the program, and the community organizations you will partner with. Pro tip: be sure to avoid all jargon in your proposal. Jargon is handy for discussion between colleagues, but if the grant reviewer has to wade through a bramble of unknown letters and numbers, then you're not making your case for support, and the proposal moves lower down on the list for consideration. Program descriptions are usually several paragraphs long. There isn't time to read one in this video, so I posted links to 2 examples in the description below. The final section of the program description is, oddly enough, the grant budget. Grant funders read the budget section of a proposal very carefully for 3 reasons. 1, because they want to make sure your organization has the experience and ability to handle a grant award. And 2, they want to see broad community support of the project because 3, most grant funders are not interested in being the sole supporter of a project. I covered this topic in depth with a complete grant budget example in this video, linked above and below. It includes what grants will pay for and what they won't. Now we come to step 3 in a winning grant proposal. Prove your program will be effective. How do we do that? We measure it with 3 metrics: outputs, outcomes, and evaluation. The first 2 sound alike, but they are not. An output is a numerical result. An outcome is a change that has occurred. Evaluation is the method you use to prove that you met your output and outcome goals. Here's an example. Suppose you have an after-school program that helps junior high students build stronger math and science skills. In your grant proposal, you say that the output is the number of children to be served, let's say 300 sixth graders over the whole school year. At the end of the program, you can evaluate whether you met this metric by counting attendance records. Then you say in your grant proposal that you have 3 outcomes in mind for this program. At the end of the school year, students will feel more confident studying math and science. Students will feel more confident in problem solving, and students will be more interested in a career in math or science. How do you evaluate that? Many times, nonprofits will survey the people they serve. In this example, students take a survey at the start of the school year, and again at the end of the school year, the nonprofit compares the results. The last item in step 3 to show your program's effectiveness to the grant funder is to tell them how you will keep the program going even after the grant dollars are spent. This is commonly called sustainability. Grant funders want to know that they are supporting an organization that can get results and improve on those results. For example, with the junior high math and science program, the nonprofit can write in the grant proposal that they will keep the positive results going by requesting support from local engineering and science firms, by adding a staff person or a consultant dedicated to fundraising, by learning how to streamline the program, by deepening the partnership with the school. Any of those or all of those. Congratulations, you have finished your proposal. It's time to submit it and all those attachments to the grant funder. Some funders will ask you to send it in by email, but many of them will have a dedicated grant portal where you upload these materials. I have a video on that topic as well, linked above and below, to show you how to set up a free account and how to use those systems. So that's done. Now what do? Here are 3 pro tips to answer that question. Pro tip 1. How long does it take to write a grant? Before you start writing the proposal, read the funder's instructions carefully. How many questions do they ask? How many of your staff and volunteers are needed to answer the questions? Do you have on hand all the extra documents we mentioned in step 1? When is the proposal due? How long is it before they promise a decision? Simple forms could take a couple of hours. Complicated forms with many questions and required additional documents means time for meetings, requesting information, and getting signatures. That could be a matter of weeks. And no matter how simple or complicated the grant proposal, the funder could take a few weeks or even months to decide. All of that must be built into your schedule. Pro tip 2. What happens after you get the grant? Before you celebrate, thank the funder. Their team of staff or volunteers have spent weeks reviewing many proposals, then in meetings to narrow the choices down. Your next steps will be guided mostly by the grant funder with an instruction sheet, if not a contract, to spell out all the required report forms and deadlines. You might also be required to attend meetings with the funder and the other nonprofits that also received a grant. So mark your calendars. Missing or late reports can mean the funder will decide not to award any more grants to your organization in the future. It could even mean they'll ask for the grant money back. Pro tip 3. What happens if you don't get the grant? After a moment to get past your frustration, thank the funder for reviewing the proposal. Like I said in Pro Tip 2, their team spent a lot of time considering your proposal, so at least thank them for that effort. Also, ask for feedback on what kept your proposal from receiving support. Often they will say that they received many more proposals than they could support, which is true. But sometimes they will give you deeper answers that can help strengthen your next proposal, because you can apply again. Well, friends, are you ready to write that grant proposal? If you're still looking for a grant to write, there are literally thousands of grant opportunities at the Grant Chatter YouTube page. Look at the playlists to find what you need from arts to youth sports and in multiple continents across the globe. I'm Tiffany. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.